Hi, thanks for being here. It's Alice Wheaton again. I want to talk today about a complex subject, and that subject is about the difference between a value proposition and a competitive advantage statement. Value proposition is great, but it doesn't have the metrics associated with it. For instance, if someone said to me, "What do you do?" I would say, "I work with leaders to help them create new opportunities and book more business." But if I were to say instead, 100% of my clients report back to me that they have increased their top line revenues, booked more business from new clients, got booked more business from existing clients, were able to get increased their new business by 10% from strangers, and got a customer service rating of 9.5 out of 10. That's a competitive advantage statement. Those are the numbers that clients resonate with. And so I'm going to use an allegory today to give you a sense of what really a competitive advantage looks like. So back in medieval times, apparently, the princess of the castle could only marry someone if they really worked hard and won her hand in marriage. And so castles typically then were surrounded by water. So this was called a moat. This was a drawbridge, but of course the drawbridge would be pulled up in times of competitors for our hands. So there would be hundreds of people lined up to win her hand in marriage, because of course the spoils of the castle would go to him who won. So all her wealth and her standing and so on would become his. And so we had these characters and these fellas lined up. And then what happens is that, of course, there were cannonballs being shot, and this water was, turned into fire. They'd thrown something on it, some oil on it to burn it. So the fellow that would get across this moat and then end up with her hand in marriage, where lots of them tried, but many of them fell short of the mark. So then what happened? This guy there would win because he beat all of his competitors. There was something about him. He was tougher, he was smarter, he had more endurance. Whatever it was, there was something about him that was beat out all of the rest of the competitors. And so that's where you are when you're working with a client and you've got several other competitors. So in today's marketplace, what's synonymous with the hand in marriage, of course, is winning the deal. And so here are the conditions. You have to be able to comply with the scope, meaning do what you said you were going to do. If you're an engineer firm and this is a mining company and they want to build a new potash mine, well then you better be able to build that potash mine. You need to be able to do it with high degree of quality and with the price you agreed upon. Now, there are two other conditions which are very important, and that is, were you able to do it on time and on budget? Now, one of my clients, Ravi Mittal, he owns a company called Clever Technologies, and what they do is they work with organizations, construction companies, and so on, to help them bring their project in on time, on budget. And his competitive advantage statement is 100% of the clients that use my program bring their product in on time and on budget. Isn't that amazing? So then in that case, he's able to scale the castle wall and actually win the client's confidence. When you're able to do that, yes, your project may go out to tender, but you will be given an extra edge. You will be given more consideration. If you're able to do this consistently for someone who builds, bus barns across Canada, for someone who builds big stores like Staples or Superstore, then what happens is that when you are able to bring projects in on time, on budget, then you become the competitive advantage, and they get proposals simply to check your price, not to find out that they're going to use someone else instead of you because they can't afford to. When you are the type of supplier that fulfill all 5 deliverables, the scope, the quantity, the price, the on time and on budget, when you're able to do that, then what happens is that you actually are scaling the walls of corporate sales and you are ahead of the pack. So you need to be able to quantify what you do. For me, I'm able to say 100% of the clients I've ever asked, when I ask them if they would give me a reference or a referral, they always say yes. That's a competitive advantage statement. Last week I had a client call me from Toronto, a large engineering firm, and said that the year before, 2014, had been the best year ever. And they thanked me for my efforts in helping them transition their 700 engineers from being working for time and money to having them have a sales attitude and help them create a sales culture. So that's climbing the moat. That's getting over the moat and climbing the castle wall. So I want to thank you for being willing to participate in growing your business and creating some really hard statistics. Find out what it is about you that your clients like, how many of them do that, and then be able to teach that to your clients. It goes a lot further than great statements that can't be measured. Bye for now.